Hey, friends! Barkey Dog here, back with another movie review. Believe it or not, once there was a time when sketch comedy was a thing on TV. Not so much anymore. Like variety shows, they mostly died off, and we can only see sketch comedy shows in reruns today. But the only remaining vestige of the sketch comedy show on television today is Saturday Night Live, which is still going. SNL's competitors in the 90s, In Living Color and Mad TV, folded long ago, and I feel we're all the poorer for it. Now, one of my viewers, Michael, was kind enough to send me this here DVD a while back. Thanks, man. This movie is interesting in that it harkens back to the halcyon days of sketch comedy. It got me thinking, and I started looking around for more. What this is sketch comedy in movie form, a genre in and of itself, and like the sketch comedy TV shows they call to mind, they are part of a dead genre. Well, rare enough in its day, no one is making sketch comedy in movie form anymore. Like sketch comedy itself, it mostly came and went. I found a couple more of these to share with you, and all three parody TV broadcasting. So let's get into it. First up, we have The Groove Tube from 1974. This one is very much a product of its time, to be sure, even featuring bits of male nudity, something they used to do back in the day. The Groove Tube purports to show the broadcast day of the fictional Channel 1, and, among other things, features parodies of the kinds of shows and advertisements that were popular at the time. There are some standout sketches here. One is a TV show about pot dealers, and my favorite is the last one, where a man sings and dances through the streets of New York in a brilliant piece of performance art. It's a hoot. Now, in case you were wondering, there is no Channel 1. Well, there was, but see, back in the late 1940s, engineers figured out that Channel 1 was really crappy for video broadcasting, so they stopped using it. That's why the dial on television sets made after that always started with Channel 2. So that's part of the joke here. In our cast, we have only two prominent names, Chevy Chase and Richard Belzer, both making their film debuts here. Chase appears in 3 quick sketches, while Belzer hangs around longer and is more prominently featured. The Groove Tube was created by comedian Ken Shapiro. Shapiro based The Groove Tube on a multimedia show he made previously in 1967 called Channel 1, which had both Chevy Chase and later Richard Belzer in it. Pretty much the same thing as this movie, clips of sketch comedy and parodies of TV shows recorded on film and projected on a screen for the audience. Anyway, Shapiro didn't fare too well in Hollywood, unfortunately, since his comedy was kinda out there and perhaps not very commercial. Eventually, he gave up Hollywood. Aside from this movie, his biggest claim to fame was writing and directing the 1981 film Modern Problems, also starring Chevy Chase. The Groove Tube is lesser known today, but became the template for Saturday Night Live and inspired comedians and creatives, leading to a lot of great material over the years. Next up, we have perhaps the most famous example of sketch comedy in movie form. The Kentucky Fried Movie from 1977. This one was created by the team that later brought us Airplane, David and Jerry Zucker and Jim Abrams. The picture was directed by John Landis, and like The Groove Tube, it's a send-up of television, but it tackles movies as well. There's a fun riff on Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, and another sending up Pam Grier's Cleopatra Jones. This one supports several brand name cameos, including Bill Bixby, George Lazenby, Henry Gibson, Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver, and the late Donald Sutherland. Forrest J. Ackerman plays a juror in a courtroom sketch. This one was made for a paltry sum in 1977 money, a mere $650,000. It went on to rake in $7 million and launched the careers of Landis and the Zucker brothers. The movie has a great energy and is a lot of fun. And that brings us back to Amazon Women on the Moon. This is probably the last sketch comedy movie we will probably ever see. John Landis is back to direct some segments, and among other directors, Joe Dante directs some sketches as well. Like the other two, this one also purports to show the broadcast day of a fictional television station, this time Channel 8. The title refers to a send-up of a 1950s sci-fi movie the station is showing that has constant technical hitches and interruptions. You can tell the bits with this sci-fi movie were made with real love, sending up the Catwomen of the Moon and the Queen of Outer Space, which I reviewed a long time ago. You find it on the channel. The costumes were a riff on the ones worn by the crewmen in Queen of Outer Space, which had been recycled from Forbidden Planet. The cast is great, and we have a lot of familiar faces, more than the other two films. We have Steve Guttenberg, Rosanna Arquette, Michelle Pfeiffer, Arsenio Hall, B.B. King, William Marshall, that's right, Blackula, he's here, Steve Allen, Henny Youngman, Rip Taylor with his confetti, Kelly Preston, Ralph Bellamy, Ed Begley Jr., and many, many more. Forrest J. Ackerman is back in the Amazon Women on the Moon segment as the President of the United States. We have Sybil Danning, too. I remember her best from this Space 1999 compilation on VHS. Yeah, I remember that. Henry Silva does a great send-up of In Search Of, the Leonard Nimoy series. Robert Colbert from The Time Tunnel plays one of the rocket crewmen. Robert Picardo, the EMH, the Doctor from Star Trek Voyager, appears in a deleted scene, as does Jenny Agutter from Logan's Run, and there are several other familiar faces in these too. This DVD has the deleted scenes included as an extra. Amazon Women on the Moon really is a throwback. By the time this film was made, sketch comedy in movie form was already dead. And this one did not spark a renaissance. But Amazon Women on the Moon is so well made, it makes you wonder if there's any place for this kind of movie today. Probably not, given the toxic climate for comedy in today's world where you can't risk offending anybody. Something comedy is supposed to do. But wouldn't it be cool if we could have it? If you know of any more of these sketch comedy movies, let me know down there in the comments, because I'd like to see them. I don't think UHF really qualifies, though. While it does have parodies of TV shows, they're just part of a linear story where Weird Al is trying to save his TV station. So it's not really the same thing. Same for Stay Tuned, the John Ritter comedy I reviewed, where he and his wife get trapped in a television hellscape. Lots of parodies of TV shows, but only as part of a linear narrative. Anyway, if you know of one I've not covered here, let me know. All three of these movies are fun in their own way. The Groove Tube is probably the most out there and the most uneven, but it does have some fun things in it. Shapiro singing and dancing through the streets of New York has to be seen to be believed. Because they're sending up TV as it was, all are a product of their time. But the genre they're part of really is a curiosity, and well worth checking out. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.